He's 23.
What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbin, coming to you with my co-host, Nigel Petersen.
Hey, everybody.
Hope everybody had a great weekend. It was known as Fight Night Weekend, so we're definitely going to get into a lot of that. And we also got a lot of other topics to discuss, such as Boston and Cleveland, trade talks now being stalled. Then we also got some NFL news to get into, such as the injury to the Patriots' number one wideout, Julian Edelman, and what kind of ramifications that I have on their team, and then just other NFL news in general that we can touch on. But also, before we get into the show, remember, you can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports Podcast. We're going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Also, don't forget that you can follow the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_sports, where the live links and show topics are tweeted prior to every single show. And also, don't forget you can call in at 571-991-0566 in order to join on any KBR Sports show topic that may be getting discussed. All right, so Nigel, one thing that we didn't get to enjoy the luxury of being at the Fight Night Weekend in Las Vegas.
Shockingly.
No, I mean, you never know. Sometimes you get sent, depending on your network and whatnot, you get sent there. But we didn't get to enjoy that luxury.
Surprisingly, nobody had sponsored KBR Sports to go cover the fight.
Well, you don't normally get sponsored to go get covered. Your network normally will send you.
Yeah,
normally send you or
sponsoring, covering. They cover your fees.
When you say sponsor,
that's what I meant. I mean, they cover your fees to go. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean in the typical sense that they are.
Yeah. Okay. But since we didn't get to enjoy, but I know a couple of people that actually went to the fight, and they actually were telling me about how amazing it was. They said that just the environment, the amount of celebrities you went to or you see around you were just is a paramount amount. Now, if you were at the fight, what would you have done? What would be your first order of business? If you were in Vegas for Fight Night Weekend, what would have been your first order of business? Just your list of things. You're okay, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Cause I feel when you're normally in Las Vegas, it's Vegas. You know what I'm saying? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But when you're in there for Fight Night Weekend,
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have gone to the fight.
You wouldn't have gone to the fight?
No.
Why?
Hey, it's a lot of people in a small area. I don't do people. That's not my thing. So I would have left there. If I gone to the casino.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not yo, you see how small that place is, compared to how everybody's bunched together?
MGM?
It's not for me, man.
Really?
It's not for me.
You had stars.
No,
that's you to the left or
I'm
right.
not gonna talk to him, so what does it matter?
You can take pictures of him. You didn't take any pictures of anybody?
No,
LeBron was there, Paul George was there, Draymond, actors, Demi Lovato.
Man, those people are out they're out with their friends, they're having fun. Man, I ain't gonna go up to them and bother them. It's different if you see them at a mall or something. And you should go up to them and say, hey, what's up, how you doing? But hey, man, they're here to communicate with people they ain't seen in a while. I ain't gonna interrupt them.
No, but what do you think that you're bothering them more so in a mall setting? Because that's when they're more on their personal time. But when they're going out to a public event, they're anticipating to take pictures. They know they're going to be seen. They dress to impress. They flaunt themselves in a way to prepare themselves to be seen. So don't you think that it would be more bothersome in a personal setting?
Nah, because if a celebrity goes to a mall, they go with the expectation that they're going to get mobbed if they go somewhere. And it's just part of being, kind of the whole a celebrity. It's just part of being it. It's sad to say, but if you go out somewhere with your friends and you're having a good time and all that kind of stuff, and you're going there to have a good time, that's a little different.
I don't know. Yeah. I feel if you're going to a public event and everybody's gonna you're on Front Street.
It depends on what kind of public event you mean. If you go to a public event like something at a park or something where there's going to be fans and you're going to be dealing with them. That I understand, but this is you're going with your crowd. You're going to see people that you haven't seen in a while. You're going to be interacting with a bunch of people that you want to interact with versus a bunch of people coming to you to interact with you. Kind of thing.
But even those people are gonna be taking pictures with you. Even other stars want to take pictures.
Yeah, but
stars. So
you have a connection with them already. There's some of I said some of them, and some of those guys you can respect that you just never met before. And those can be connections that you maintain, and they can help you, business connections and stuff like that. If you meet a fan, it's just a fan. No offense to the fans out here, but you're just a fan. You ain't helped me grow.
Because I even listened to I've listened to other sports broadcasters that were there. And some of them were recognized by some of the stars out there.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, because, each of these people, a lot of people are famous for a lot of different things that are out there.
Absolutely.
So some of these guys are broadcasters, actors, comedians, so.
Singers, rappers.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So some of these guys are getting recognized. Like, one other sports radio hosts I listen to who actually got recognized out there by different sports stars and then different actors and stuff. And then actually Chance the Rapper recognized them out there. So, and it's just funny because But then they come up to you for asking for pictures. So then they kind of work in a reverse kind of double parallel. Like if we were out there and our show was
that's different.
No, I'm saying, but they really were. And some of those guys were fans of our shows and stuff like that. And they came up and somebody might be, but if they came up to us and I requested a picture or something like that, or they were like, oh, what's up guys, whatever, and then we asked for a picture.
Yeah, that's different. That's different.
Wow.
If it was like we were there for KBR Sports. Then that's different than us being there for like me just being there, like being like for example, I think your first one was like like your family went out to Vegas and they were like deciding between going to the fight and not going to the fight or something like, or I was in Vegas and by myself or something like that.
Well, I guess it can be a multitude of scenarios.
But I'm saying like if we go for KBR Sports, then yeah, I would stick around obviously and mingle with the crowd. I mean that's different. That's a work opportunity. That's us trying to get our name out there opportunity. So that's kind of different if it's like that. But if it was just like a personal thing, nah, I'm good.
Wow.
I'm good.
All right, y'all. Let's jump into the show. We'll touch on that a little bit later. That's interesting. I'm surprised.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I know you actually don't like to mingle around crowds, but I thought if you had a chance to see a lot of your favorite sports stars, particularly LeBron, guys of that caliber, you would take up the opportunity. I'm surprised. All right. So, y'all, we're going to jump into our first time. We're going to talk about the actual fight itself, in which Floyd Mayweather came out the victor with the 10th round TKO. Nigel, what did you think about the fight overall and just the whole event of the fight?
Okay, so first of all, overall thoughts of the fight? It was an entertaining fight. I honestly was kind of poo-poo on the fight. I wasn't really like about it like that because I mean Pacquiao and Floyd was hyped up to the max, and it was a boring fight. Let's just go ahead and say it was a pretty dull fight. That didn't live up to the hype. So, I mean, you get another big fight, and Floyd's older now. Conor's never boxed before. Like, come on, this isn't going to be interesting. He's going to just work him, and then it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be over pretty quickly. There's no point in watching. But, no, it was an entertaining fight. It was a very entertaining fight. I honestly don't really have any complaints about the fight. I mean, for what it was. A guy boxing for his first time.
Yeah.
It was what it was. I wasn't expecting, some high-class, like, back and forth, tight fight kind of thing. But it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Not exactly what I thought it was going to be. If best case scenario, this is what I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the fight?
I felt as though like how you were saying for Conor McGregor's first fight. Like, I mean, we had a lot of boxing aficionados saying he wasn't even going to touch Floyd. Like, I think Dana White in the post-fight press conference came out and specifically called out Max Kellerman, saying that he couldn't even reach Max Kellerman at that point because he was saying, oh, well, what happened? Because I thought he wasn't even supposed to touch Floyd. And there was one notable hit, I think Conor McGregor got in the third round where he got a clean uppercut on Floyd. But you saw, I mean, it was one of those fights that, like it was way more entertaining than the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd fight. I mean, when you look at it, Conor McGregor landed 111 out of 430 punches. 26% in the 10 rounds that they fought in.
But hold on a second. Were you going there? I rather like if you're not a boxing fan, that's the kind of boxing you want to see. A guy just going in and just throwing punches instead of two Floyds just backing up and kind of playing defensive against each other.
Exactly, and that's what a lot of Floyd Mayweather's fights are. They're for obviously boxing fans, and then the casual guy that just tunes in to watch. Like some people tune in just to watch Floyd lose.
Really?
Yeah.
Lose.
Yeah, they tune in just to watch him lose. So. When those people are tuning in, they want to see a scrap a lot of times. That's what they want to see. They want to see the most punches being thrown, the oohs and the ahs. But when you look at it, when Conor lands 111 punches at a 26% rate, Manny Pacquiao in 12 rounds landed 81 out of 429. That's 19% in 12 rounds. So it's like he landed hits on Floyd at a way more efficient rate than Manny Pacquiao did. And when you look at the overall punch totals, I mean, Conor McGregor, in total, like I said, 26%. Floyd landed 170 out of 320 punches, 53%. Jabs, Floyd landed 18 of 59, 31%. Conor, 27 of 98, 28%. The power punches, Floyd, 152 power punches out of 261 for 58%. Conor McGregor, 84 out of 332, 25%. So, I mean, when you look at the differentiating numbers, you're just like, wow. I mean, Floyd was letting him have it. But the funny thing is, the first 3 rounds, a lot of people say they felt like Conor won those first 3 rounds because Conor was the aggressor, but like Floyd only threw like 20-something punches in those rounds.
So you find some people out there that think it was kind of a little bit of a farce. Saying, I mean, some people, mainly one person, Oscar De La Hoya, came out earlier and said, I lost the quote. He said it was a farce.
Okay, why you find the quote real quick? This fight, even at the end when Floyd ended it in the TKO, the score for the 3 judges has scored at 87-83. One judge's score 89-82, and another judge 89-81. So you even see in the point markings how they started awarding it towards Floyd. And a lot of people feel as though after the 4th round, that's essentially when Floyd just took it over.
But here's a quote from Oscar De La Hoya. I still think it's a farce. I still think the fans deserve better. I think the morning's news article will come out saying Floyd made a ton of money the end of the 10th round. I don't fall for it. He was pretty much just, and he had a much longer quote, it's like 2 paragraphs. But he's just saying that he felt like Floyd was just kind of toying around with him. He didn't really take him seriously. Let Conor win the first 3 rounds to kind of play up a little bit of the fight. And like I said, I read at the end of the quote, which said things as far as Brendan, do you think there's any kind of validity to that?
I mean, I do believe Floyd could have probably ended Conor earlier if he wanted to. I mean, it's Floyd Mayweather we're talking about, and he's arguably one of the best. He's arguably the best boxer of all time. At least in most people's minds, he's the best defensive boxer of all time. So I do believe he could have most likely ended the fight a lot sooner than if he had really wanted to. But he did say this prior to the fight. This was his strategy, that he was going to wear Conor down. He's going to use the fact that Conor's not, that is his first time professionally boxing. And he was going to walk him down, which he continuously did, which was, it's physically straining, but it's also mentally straining. To have a guy consistently walking you down throughout the fight, not really letting you get your hands down, like have a breather. Floyd just kept walking on him. And Floyd even said that he tested Conor's punch power in the fight to see like if his punches really damage him, and he said they wouldn't. So he knew that he could continuously use that strategy. So I don't really think it's more so of a farce kind of thing, but more of that was just Floyd's strategy and the strategy he announced to us beforehand. And I also think, just to say this right before you go, but Oscar De La Hoya, he has reason to kind of downplay this fight because he's promoting the Triple G and Canelo Alvarez fight because he's a promoter of Golden Boy Productions. So if you have multiple reasons to try and put the focus on your fight versus, he was one guy that was so salty about the fact that this fight became before the Canelo and Triple G fight is going to come in September, and this fight took up all the attention when that fight is arguably the best boxing fight we might have in the decade. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that I get where Oscar's coming from because he's just salty that this took so much attention away from Triple G and Canelo, but in terms of the fight itself, I just think it was Floyd's strategy.
Okay. I don't completely agree with that. But I absolutely agree that this was played up. The first 3 rounds were kind of played up to make it more interesting versus it being coming in, quick, we're out of here kind of thing. If you look at if you look at Floyd's, how many punches did he throw in the first 3 rounds?
He threw under 50 punches.
No, in total. But he was 2 of 6 round 1 total punches, 5 of 10, 5 of 12.
Yeah.
Average before Manny Pacquiao, they averaged out his previous 13 fights. He threw 39.5 punches each round. Connected on 17.1 of those. Jabs, 17.6 per round. Power punches, 21.1 per round. You're talking about like a fifth of the punches he typically threw in the rounds. Like if it were closer, I'd be like, it was just a strategy. But that's a huge discrepancy. And I understand that the strategy was to walk him down and to tire him down. But this was completely not looking to even attack at any kind of a point in time, really. Like and Conor had openings in the beginning rounds where he could just pick away at him a little bit. But he 6 punches in the first round. And for Conor, he got tired as the match went on. But his numbers stayed super consistent. Outside of, he was in the pretty much below around 20-25% ish. Except for 2 rounds where he hit 44% in his last round when he only threw 9 punches. and 46 in round 6, where he hit 41% of the time. So, I mean, Conor's didn't change, and then you see Floyd just, after round 3, just shoots up to his normal 31, 26, 37, 54, 48, 68, and 28. So, I mean, that's, to me, it's just like, I understand where Oscar is coming from. I don't think it's just, I do think a part of it is that, you know, he does have to promote his brand. But I do think there is some validity to that comment.
Okay, I can see where you see the validity in it. I just think that it was one of those things that, because think about it, for Conor to even land the amount of punches he was landing on Floyd, he had to. I think that's the reason why Floyd knew he could walk on Conor the whole time, because you're not going to hit Floyd if you're putting so much on your punch, because the more power you're putting in your punch, the slower it becomes. So Conor's just throwing these light jabs the whole time, trying to just touch Floyd. He's literally just trying to touch him up, because he realized that if he puts that much power, he's not going to hit him. So I think it's one of those things. Now, it is kind of weird, the numbers you do, how Floyd didn't throw as many punches back. But I think because he was pretty much strategizing. I'm just gonna let this guy wear himself out.
I mean, that's why I said I agree with you on that. There was obviously a plan to wear him out, but to me, it's just like, it's just such a far drop of what he usually does. And I've had another fight pulled up, and it was like, the first round, he was throwing like 30, 40 punches. And it was just like, and those were guys that were, those are guys who are seasoned boxers. So, I mean, they had the conditions. So, I mean, it makes sense for Floyd to play his usual game. But it's just weird to me that you're clearly going to outclass this guy, to just sit back and just let him kind of, you know, wear himself out.
I mean, he has that luxury.
He does.
He has that luxury. I mean, okay, so if Oscar De La Hoya is saying it's a farce, how much do you think that this can really translate into Conor McGregor possibly really having another match in boxing?
I think. Well, that depends. What do you mean? Do you mean like having just another boxing itself, or having a legitimate boxer coming at him?
Boxer, like boxing, like not Floyd,
but somebody coming at him.
Yeah,
it depends on the person. If somebody.
And the thing is, he probably only searched for another big a payday.
That's what I'm saying.
The only way he would get another payday is if he fought a guy like Triple G, Canelo.
See, now if he fought like those people, I don't think it would be pretty. I think that would be more of one of the line what people thought this would actually be. Yeah, I mean, assuming that this is like, it's not, Conor's not going to have time to like train himself in boxing like for a long period of time. It's going to be another like kind of
be somebody UFC.
Yeah. So assuming it's going to be like another quick hit. We're going to throw something together. Boom, in a couple of months we'll throw a fight together, kind of thing. Not assuming it's not going to be like 2 years from now and Conor's been like secretly practicing boxing on the side or something like that. If it was kind of like that, I think, like I said, I think it would be more along the lines of what we thought the fight would actually be.
I definitely think that this is probably his only boxing match. I think, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
I mean, he got the big payday. I mean, once you get this kind of big payday and you realize, I don't have to take this much punishment to make this amount of money, versus the UFC, I have to take a whole crap ton of punishment in order to make this kind of money. It makes you kind of wonder ask the question like, why would I go back to the UFC?
I can get rocked for $100 million.
Exactly, you know what I mean? But it's one of those things that, hey, that was your bread and butter. That's how you are Conor McGregor. You know, right now your boxing record is 0-1. You lost to a 40-year-old Floyd Mayweather who is devoid of punching power, who did technically knocked you out. And against a guy with actual punching power like Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, Canelo Alvarez, Andre Ward, those kind of guys, they would definitely go to. I don't think it would go past 3 rounds. They would go to task.
They would be extra. Like at the end of the fight, when when Floyd had his gloves down and was just walking to the guy and just throwing punches from the hip. It was just it's like, you know, that's how the fight would be.
And those guys actually have knockout power. So, I mean, this man Conor would have been literally slumped because
in the 10th round, that was rough to watch.
You said end of the 10th round?
That was rough to watch.
Because Conor just had his hands down. He was so exhausted.
Yeah, it was just like watching a guy just beat up on another guy. It felt wrong to watch.
Really, there was so much ill punishment being handed out.
Yeah.
All right, right before we go to this next segment, I wish we had more time to slot this in as another topic. But okay, so judging from how the fight ended with the ref stopping it, and a lot of people saying that particularly MMA fans feeling that they should have let the ref should have let the fight go on. Do you think the ref stopped the fight way too early?
No. There's nothing that was going to change about that fight. It's just you know, let the what's going. What are they going to stop the fight? What are they going to not stop the fight for? I mean, you're just getting beat on at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it going to change? Kind of get beat on some more?
I mean, Conor was saying that let me hit the ground. You know, let me at least be knocked out before you stop the fight. Like,
no, that's dumb.
I mean, that's the ref's goal is to protect you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, I understand. That's like macho kind of bravado kind of talk, but I mean.
And he's an MMA fighter, and MMA normally, like, they're allowed to, even if your moment of weakness, they're allowed to, like, just bow, wonk you, and
that's not boxing.
Yeah, boxing, they're trying their best to protect you, and I'm not saying MMA doesn't, but it's even more dangerous in boxing if you're fighting a guy like Floyd, who doesn't have particularly knockout power, and you have an accumulation. Like, the man had over 150 power punches landed on Conor. So when you have that accumulation of punches landed on a guy, you could possibly be more in danger because you're consistently just taking the hits. Like, you're taking those hits.
Yeah, you're taking head hits too.
You know what I mean? And you're just not going down yet. And versus a guy like Triple G or Canelo who's just gonna knock you out straight worth and then the fight's over. You know, when you're consistently just taking, like, that's the only problem with light-handed guys, because more times if they keep hitting you and their punches rack up like how Floyd does it, you might not be knocked out, but you could be concussed, and then you're allowed to keep fighting, which could lead to even further injury. So I think the ref was right to stop it when he did it.
I'm not. Look, that was a beatdown. There's no point in continuing to go. There's no chance of a reversal happening. There was no comeback. There's no coming back from it. It was over.
Eat some broccoli and get the Popeye.
Spinach, man, spinach.
Oh yeah, the spinach. Yeah, my man's. All right, y'all. We're gonna hit our first break of the night. Remember, when we come back from the break, or the break will last about 50 seconds to a minute. Refresh the page after the live link disappears, and the live link will reappear after that minute break. When we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about the Boston Celtics and Cleveland Cavaliers trade, and could both players in the trade, or could all people in the trade be staying with their respective teams, and then there could be no trade getting done in the first place. Stay tuned to hear what we think on KBR Sports, the best sports talk show 24 hours a day.